This is Kendra.
And this is Brianna. Welcome to Camp Comparisons.
Where she's in one camp and I'm in the other. All right, well, I don't have any news particularly or updates in the Percy Jackson universe, but we did say we were going to read the 5-star review that we have. So this is from, the username is blah blah, I guess. And it says, this podcast does such a great job detailing the good and bad parts of the new show, and they're so funny. So thank you to blah blah, I guess. Thank you to blah blah, I guess. No.
Our spoiler warning. We spoil all of this show and all of this first book. And we often talk, briefly about other things that happened in other books. But if they are main plot points or main character changes, like, anyone who dies or anyone who gains new magical powers, we will give a proper spoiler warning. So that you can skip ahead if needed.
Okay, so I'm going to recap. We finished episode 6 in our last... We finished the TV series episode 6 in our last episode.
Yeah.
Where we kind of covered them leaving the Lotus Casino with the whole cool taxi thing, and then getting to the beach.
And getting the pearls.
Getting the pearls. And that's how we ended.
Yeah.
And then...
This one opens up... Definitely, it's a little time jump. We don't open up back at Santa Monica Beach.
No. And we figure, if you think about it long enough, maybe not the first time you watch it, because the first time you watch it, it's a whole different thought process. But when you think about it, you realize Hermes has told them to go to this place.
That this is how you get into
the underworld. And that's how you get in the underworld. And they came prepared.
That, it's a trap and they'll try to kill you.
Well, he may not have warned them, but they may have, thought about it and talked about it and was like, oh, this is Procrustes. And
just because they know who Procrustes is doesn't mean they know that the waterbeds is what the trap is. Yes, Procrustes or whatever is an actual character in Greek mythology, but he definitely didn't sell waterbeds that were traps.
Sure.
They changed that to make it more modern. So the fact that they knew that specifically the waterbeds were a trap has to be from Hermes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to respectfully disagree with you. I do not think Hermes was nice enough to explain the exact trap.
How would they
figured it out. Because
based on what? They said, we know exactly, we know that your waterbeds are traps. This is Brianna from the future. My mother and I argue for 3 more minutes about this. So I'm just going to cut that out and put in exactly what the episode says. And then everyone can decide for themselves how Percy knew. But when he walks into Procrustes, he calls him the murderer of travelers. And when Krusty tells him to relax, he says, quote, "The beds are a trap. That's how you do it. That's how you murder the travelers." So he knew from the moment he walked in. Maybe he just had a lucky guess from the second he walked in, or maybe that note that was left by Hermes told them that the waterbeds are a trap. So there you go. Enjoy the rest of the episode. Oh, so is the name of this episode actually a name from one of the book chapters?
No,
because
it's called We Find Out the Truth, sort of.
I was like, I don't recognize that name. And I know that at the end of this book, I often am reading at lightning speed. No pun intended. But
that was a good pun.
I didn't remember this chapter name. I thought that it was We Shop for Waterbeds, and then Annabeth goes to obedience school.
Annabeth does obedience school, yep.
Whatever. And then the next one... Actually,
which we don't get into on this episode.
Well, what is the name of the next one? Is that when we find out the truth?
It is that one. Oh, it is a chapter title. We find out the truth sort of is chapter 19, but okay, fine. We do get into chapter 19 on this episode. So
because they go all the way to Hades and talk to Hades.
Wow, so funny. When I saw We Found Out the Truth, sort of, I thought that's a really dumb title for the episode, but it's actually the title of chapter 19. Okay, fine. Well, I'm glad we looked at that because I thought it was silly.
I was like, it kind of slightly rang a bell, but I couldn't remember if that's just because I already watched this show,
Yeah.
So I was like, am I remembering it from the first time I watched it, or was it a chapter title? But I think, like I said, at that point, you're reading so fast that you just miss that chapter title.
No, they're in the middle of the underworld. When they go from chapter 18 to 19, you're already in the underworld. You're just like, okay, what's happening? Like, you don't really, to yourself, consider that you're starting a new chapter. You're sort of in the adventure,
Right.
Yeah.
And I love that he's the son of Poseidon and he sells waterbeds. That was a funny
Oh, that's a very good point. I
bit.
didn't get it.
You're the son of Poseidon. And he sells waterbeds.
Before we get
exclusively waterbeds.
I know.
Very
just
funny.
waterbeds. Which, by the way, is a very, 90s maybe? 80s? 90s thing? Like, there's a certain point where waterbeds weren't, you don't ever hear about anybody having waterbeds, but when I was a kid, people had waterbeds. But, okay, I did want to say, though, before we get too far in here, I just want to put a blanket statement that this was my possibly least favorite episode.
Yeah, I think so, too. I only really liked, two small things.
Yeah, there's a couple things I liked.
One after another being like, what is this? What is this?
Yeah.
Where is this coming from? Who's making this?
There was too many changes, in putting this together. So I'm going to show you guys my notes, which you can't see. But I have exactly 2 pages of notes that gets me through, maybe the first half of this episode. Generally, I would have 6 pages. Now, the reason for that is it's this is not in the books. This is not in the books.
I don't like
it's
this.
So changed.
And it's not in the books. And also, I don't like it.
I didn't even have to keep notes of the fact that I didn't like it, because the minute we talk about it, I'll remember. So there wasn't a whole lot of notes for me to keep. But there you go. That's my negativity.
I definitely wrote just, sometimes just, a word or 2 words so I could remember,
what happened.
Instead of being like, wait, hold on. Somehow we've skipped a scene.
Yeah.
Because I realized I wasn't writing anything. And so I just, wrote, 1 word somewhere.
Just to remember where you were in something. What's happening next in each scene.
Yeah, I wrote the word ball, and then I wrote everyone gets one. That's supposed to be them, as they start walking down to the underworld.
That's funny.
I'm just I'm just going to make sure I remember what happened, but this is all kind of nonsense.
That's funny. Yeah, so when we first watched this, him walking into the waterbed place alone, first thought was wait, where's Annabeth and Grover? And then he says, I know who you are, and just starts, and then I was just of course you do. And fine. And I'm going to say that honestly, the waterbed scene in the book is not that important. I didn't really...
No.
I feel like they could have even skipped the waterbed completely and gone straight to DOA recording. I would have much rather seen the lobby with Charon. Yeah. Charon. He says, don't get me mixed up with the goat man.
It's Chiron.
No, with the horseman. Sorry.
Yeah, Chiron and
it's Charon. Yeah. I would have much rather seen Charon with his Armani suits or whatever it's called.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Wanting his pay raise.
Yeah, I know. When they offered him the coins and he didn't take it.
I know. I was like, what?
It was like I said, it was just one thing after another.
Yeah.
At every beat, you were like, oh.
That's
okay.
different.
Wait, what? Okay. It's it's all moving so weirdly. Plus, the whole flashbacks are happening in this episode.
And
we also hate that flashback.
The flashbacks literally could have been completely dispensed with. They would not have affected the story at all, except for maybe better, because then you wouldn't have had a somewhat negative opinion of this mother.
Scene. The only scene that I liked was her talking to Poseidon. So you could have had
I like that, yeah.
You could have had hey, they're at a diner together eating. Percy seems a little grumpy. Sally goes up to pay and kind of complains about parenting issues to Poseidon. That's the whole thing. Just that one flashback would have been cute. Cut the rest of it out. We don't know.
But also, yeah, you could have just totally gotten rid of all the flashbacks and really it would have made no difference. So there was so many things you could have done. We could have had that whole DOA recording. There's so many other things we could have had instead of those flashbacks.
And letter E, letter Z, easy line for the deaf people.
Yeah.
And then, so if you don't want to get judged, you can go through the easy line.
Yeah.
And your soul just goes straight to the fields of asphodel. Or you can decide you want to be judged.
Yeah, because you think you probably, if you have a chance to go to Elysium.
Yeah.
Elysium?
I don't know. Last time I was just too scared to even say it. I just said The Good Place, but then it sounds like that show. But
The Good Place.
Yeah. The Good Place and the Better Place. That's the 2 other places.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, you are forced to get judged. If you were clearly, actively a bad person, they will, you don't get to just slip through easy death at that point. You have to, they will personally pull you up in front of the 3 judges because you were, a murderer or whatever.
Yeah.
You
so
can't always
so many
get
things that we miss.
Yeah, that would have been cool to just see.
And then we got other stuff.
How that all works. And even walking through the fields of asphodel and that description.
They do walk through the fields.
Well, but it's not even the same thing at all. But that description that he writes in the books, which I love so much, of like that feeling like it's like right before a concert's about to start, except for something terribly wrong has happened, so everyone's like very quiet and like solemn.
And the lights have gone out.
And then all the lights have gone out. It was just like a giant field of like they're all waiting for something to happen, except for that thing isn't really going to be a good thing, like whatever it is.
Yeah,
it's just.
We pretty much just covered the whole episode, so I think we're done now.
Just stop.
Bye! I'm just joking. Hold on, we're gonna listen to the sound of this.
Elysium.
Elysium?
Elysium. It means a state of great happiness.
I like Elysium better than that.
Elysium. Let's say Elysium. We can take away the j. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I guess we might as well go through this. Scene 1 being walking in the waterbed. We already said that. Walking into the waterbed store.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't mention here is one of Krusty's first lines to him is someone missing their mother or something like that. And I was like, because he did it, like, he was doing his, like, little sales pitch as he walked out from the back, and then he kind of hesitated as he saw Percy.
Yeah.
So I was like, did he right away know, like, oh, this is Percy Jackson, and, like, know everything about him? Or did he just sense this is a demigod, and that line was more like a dig at his, like, age? Because he's definitely not the first one who's commented about, like, oh, where are your parents? You're so young, or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. Because he says someone's missing our... No, it's like... missing our mommy, are we?
Yeah,
right?
like, it's like mocking, but also Percy's literally missing his mom, and that's why he's there, to go to the underworld and save her.
Well, the fact that he, like, hesitates and sees him, he knows something. He knows something.
It could just be, I can smell a demigod. Most monster people, they just can smell or sense demigods. Like, you can, just the power that they have. They're not
either that or he got the heads up.
Yeah. Or he was
Someone
like,
said this guy's gonna try to come get his mom, you know?
Yeah.
Who knows?
He also seems to have this, like, in the book, he has, he's just, like, a normal salesman. Like, he doesn't have, like, mental power over them. But here, when he's trying to get Percy to lay in the bed, and he's saying all those things about, like, which is funny if you've read the books, he's saying all the things about, like, being stretched out and cut to bits and stuff.
Yeah.
Which you kind of see how the waterbed works, but you don't really get the same idea as you do in the books of, like, exactly what he does with the waterbed traps.
Yeah.
But he's saying this whole thing, and then then Percy's like, almost looks like he might do it, and then says, you first. And then when Annabeth pushes the guy, she asks, like, Percy, are you okay? He looks like a little shaken. So it seems like his, like, salesman's power is, like, more than just, I'm a salesman, but, like, actually some
interesting
power there.
Interesting. Yeah, it is funny that when he walks in, there's, like, this beachy music. Do you notice the music at all? It was kind of
but that's also funny for the sun of the
Yeah. It was, like, a little, like, happy beachy music, and I was like, okay. But yeah, so he knows who Procrustes is. Mm-hmm. And it's the same actor who played Charon in the movie. In the first movie, the actor that plays Charon is the same actor, which is interesting.
Yeah, definitely a bit older, but...
Yeah. It's interesting because it's kind of like, okay, so in the book, they see Charon who lets them into the underworld, and here they see Procrustes that doesn't really let them in, but that's how they get in, and it's the same actor. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah. Considering we don't really see Charon's face in this, version.
Yeah, you don't see him.
Because,
true.
Well, you see him, you just have,
you
like,
see
a hood
him,
on.
you don't see his face.
Barely, you just see his, like, a little bit of his nose and mouth.
Yeah,
that's it.
It could almost be the same guy.
It looked like a younger nose and mouth.
Oh, did it? Okay, I wasn't really paying attention.
It had some, like dark makeup on, but he looked not, wrinkly, I guess.
Right. Yeah, in the book, they're, like, running away from, like, thugs in LA, and there's, like, a comment that Procrustes says about, like, oh, yeah, I get a lot of people because of them. So you almost get the idea that he's almost, like, hired these thugs to, like, run people into... Like, there's almost a little, like, feel of,
really?
like... He's,
I
like,
forgot that.
Keeps them around because they constantly are running people in, you know?
Yeah,
like,
maybe he's not, like, actually in cahoots with them, but that's his reason for not doing anything about them. Maybe. Not that monsters are out here doing things for...
No.
The good of mortals anyways.
They wouldn't. But he's acting like a mortal in that incident. He's pretending he's just a normal sales guy. But yeah, he does knock both Annabeth and Grover on the beds, and they're too short. They're shorter than 6, and that's when he explains, oh, they need to fit perfectly. And then Percy in this scene is super smart.
Yeah.
Because even though his best friends are being stretched
and they're screaming
at him, he's like, oh yeah, that's super smart. He's like totally like he's
I
like
love when he's like, oh, don't mind them. They're
don't
always
mind
so
them.
difficult.
Yeah, and he's like, see, I'm glad. I mean, Procrustes is like, oh my gosh, this is a customer that really understands me. So he's like really getting him going.
Yeah,
and then he asks, convinces him to lay down
like
for your size or something.
Like how it doesn't do too many ripples. And he's like, really? Is that true even for like someone who's your size? And he's like, oh yeah, definitely. And then he lays down, and then Percy says the magic word that like causes the straps to come.
Right.
And then he cuts off his head.
He actually cuts off his head
with his sword,
which is like quite violent.
Yeah, but I love how they say it.
But okay.
The line is so perfect. He was like, if you let me go, I'll give you like 50% off, 60% off. Yeah. And then he, like, Percy's like, I swung my sword. He stopped making offers. Like, it wasn't like I then chopped off his head and, I mean, he would just turn to dust anyways. It's not like, it's not that violent. It's actually less violent than cutting off Medusa's head, which then rolls around afterwards.
Yeah. So, well, then he cuts loose Annabeth and Grover, and he looks at Annabeth and says, you look taller. And she says, very funny. Be faster next time.
Yeah, I'm very appreciative. Yeah. It's hard work.
But that's actually how they find out to go to DOA recording studios, because I guess on somewhere, some advertisement.
They go to, like, his back office or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they're looking for something, like money or something to help them out.
I think so, because they did get a bunch. They took a bunch of his money, because that's how they pay. Chiron. It's like care, like a care package.
Yeah.
Anyways, also I love it in the book where Grover says, "Give us a minute. We were almost stretched to death," and Percy says, "Then you're ready for the underworld." Anyway, so we miss all that.
When they get to Charon and they're trying to convince him that they're dead, and then he's like, "How did you die?" He's like, "Drowning in a bathtub." It's like all three of you.
They're like, yep. He's like, wow, that's a big bathtub. And he looks really impressed. At that point, I would have been like, really guys, you're a little too old to be taking a bath together. Yeah, anyways, seriously. Whatever.
And also 3 people who are clearly not related.
And you know what? This was the plan. Because they're like, remember the plan? Okay, good. We got the plan. Yeah, got the plan. And one day he asks, how did you die?
Apparently
Percy nudges Grover like it's his job to say how they die. So did they think this through?
No, I don't, like, not all the way. Clearly not all the way.
They should have said a boating accident. It would have made more sense.
Yeah, but they don't look like, I don't know, maybe I don't know how, maybe you look like
they
your
look like
self.
They took a bathtub in their clothes. I mean, I don't know. Did they come in their clothes? How does that work? If you die naked, do you show up naked?
Don't you come how you look buried? Because don't they talk about you should get buried with your drachma?
That's right.
So I think you don't show up until your burial. But if you get like cremated, I guess you just show up how you looked before you're gonna be shoved in. But do you get cremated with your clothes on?
I have no clue. I don't.
I really don't know.
This is getting a little bit on the dark side. Okay, so yeah, then Annabeth in the show, Annabeth just pushes him. So she's invisible the whole time with him. Grover's outside, which is interesting to me because in the book, this would make sense. That Grover was left outside because he was a little bit like, I don't want to be here for that, or I'm scared, or I don't know, something.
Or what's the point? They just needed 2 people for this plan, and one of them had to be invisible, so.
Because he walks in, he's like, is it over? Like, he's nervous, which is not the Grover in the TV series. It was to me, it seemed very book Grover.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
I just think he's a little bit mixed. Like, I feel like depending on what writer is writing the episode is making him, like, more or less nervous. Because, like, sometimes he is a bit nervous. Or, like, a bit...
I guess I can't remember him being
paranoid. I mean...
In the TV show? He definitely is in the book. I mean, he's, like, eating things left, right, and center. Chewing his cap, you know? All sorts of things. I'm not really sure. But, yeah, no, it was interesting to me because maybe you're right. Maybe they're just like, listen, we're not going to throw another person in here. I don't know why. What difference it would have made. But
come across as less threatening.
Maybe.
To Krusty.
Yeah. Okay, well, Krusty gets all tied up. They do not chop his head off. They go to the back room.
Yeah, I was guessing they left him since he's supposed to be guarding. Like, he's supposed to be at the guard of that entrance, and they don't really want it to be unguarded.
Yeah,
that was the only reason I felt like they kept him alive.
Yeah, maybe.
Because once again, he would disintegrate. It's not like they're like, oh, worried about the gore of cutting his head off. Like,
yeah, that's right.
Although, are his blades... Anyways, I'm not sure. Because you see, like, these blades show up when he gets, like, laid down on the bed and his head's hanging off the edge. These 2, like, blades come, but then they retreat.
I didn't even notice that, really?
Yeah.
On the beds?
Yeah, like, it's part of the headboard. Like, they're clearly meant to chop off someone's head. But they didn't look like celestial bronze to me.
So maybe they wouldn't have cut his head off anyways?
I think Percy would have to come with his weapon, or Annabeth with her dagger to kill him. But either way, he would just turn it... The point is, he would just turn into dust. So... Right. I don't think they were worried about, like, a gore factor. So it must have just been like, well, he's the guardian.
I think the whole reason they left him there was for the great line where we're in the back room and he yells, no one comes back. And Annabeth says, dude, don't make me come back out there.
Yeah.
And I loved that so much. I love the fact that we had some humor. There's like 2 bits of humor in here. Which we got, which was that, and also, she gives Grover the ball, the squeaky ball.
Right.
Oh, because that's where he's stressed. Yeah. Which they don't explain why, but he is a satyr, and they're going to go in the underworld. Satyrs don't like underground. Maybe that's why he didn't
come in. Maybe he was just generally nervous, and they're like, listen, we'll handle this.
Yeah, so she gives him the ball to, like, de-stress him out, and it's a squeaky ball. It's not just your normal little, what's it called? Stress ball. Yeah, it's a squeaky ball. So then... The whole time in this scene, you just hear the squeaking sound, and it is humorous.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it.
And that's why then Annabeth takes it from him later. And it all makes sense. It's just that, you know when you're watching, like, especially a more targeted for kids type show, and you're like, wow, they're showing a lot of screen time of this random object that, like, shouldn't matter, but like, it's gonna have to come into play because we've seen it 4 times.
Yeah.
And it's literally...
it's just a ball?
Yeah, like, either it's a ball or just, like, something else. Like, there's definitely times where you're like, okay, clearly this is important because there's no reason for us to, like, bring this much attention to it.
So you're saying it was, like, very obvious leading up to something with this ball?
Yeah, and it, didn't... Like, it was just, like, first she gives it to Grover, then she takes it from Grover, and I get it's because it was squeaking, but you knew it was squeaking when he handed it to him, so whatever. Like, I don't know, it was just, like, a lot of screen time for this bright red ball that was very standout-ish. Instead of in the book, where
it's a surprise when she pulls it out. We didn't know she had it. Because they just
pack a bag at Waterland. Wasn't it a Waterland ball? Yep. So they packed a bag at Waterland because they are, low on supplies considering all their stuff blew up on the bus back in New Jersey.
And for some weird reason, she thought, let's have a ball.
Yeah.
Because you just might need this on a quest.
But it's not brought up like, Annabeth put in 2 shirts and 1 ball into a bag. They all, like, ran off in different directions and just started raiding this gift shop. So, yeah, you could think maybe it doesn't make that much sense. But it's not like they were like, and then she put a purple ball in her bag and slowly zipped it. It's like, you really don't think about it. And then she just happens to have it and pulls it out at the right moment. And it's a lot more subtle than, like, I just felt like this was so, like, okay, we get it. There's a ball.
And I wonder if a little bit was also done for us because they were like, look, we didn't forget the ball. But it wasn't necessary, but fine. So the humor was okay.
Thing in this episode that was similar to the actual scenes in the book, the ball was the least of my concerns.
Oh, really? It was a lot of people's wanting to make sure there was the ball scene with Cerberus. A lot of people had that. It's not even the
same. Like, in the book, it's cute, and Cerberus is being, like, a super cute puppy. Here, he's definitely still wants to kill them. Annabeth doesn't fully... Like, only while she's petting him does he calm down, and then the second her foot slips, he's, like, ready to kill her.
But he does try to grab the ball, and when they throw it again into the river, he does go after it. So he's still being a dog that's affected by this. But you're right.
I still like the book so much
better.
They
took the funniness, the humor of the underworld out almost completely until the end, and then they shoved it in Hades.
Which is the why. Like, the why.
Which I thought, like, I'm like, why am I going to complain? When we get to Hades, why am I going to complain about how kind of...
It's just so not right.
Comedic he is. When I've been complaining this whole time about the lack of comedy, so I don't know.
Because you gotta put it in the right spots. You can just change a character.
Yeah.
Because you didn't put humor in before.
We really don't like this episode.
Apparently not.
Sorry, guys. Anyway, so yeah, I think we're done with this scene, right? They go in through the door, squeak, squeak, squeak.
Yep, and Percy hands up the pearls.
Oh, that's right.
Because he's like, if something happens, 1, I want you guys to be able to get out.
Yeah.
Which does come in handy with Annabeth. And 2, I want to make sure that, like, if something happens to me, and I have all of them on me.
Yeah, that'd be dumb. Yeah, so he's being smart here. Percy's getting smarter and smarter as we go.
But the second they split up, I the pearls split up, I was like, okay, I think I see how this is going to play out.
Right.
Because
we knew he wasn't going to end up with...
Yeah, because the line of the quest,
Yeah.
the line of the prophecy says you're going to fail to save what matters most to the end. If they had 4 pearls, he wouldn't fail to do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So we knew something was going to happen, had to happen with the pearls, unless they were going to totally mess up the line of the prophecy, which would have been dumb, and they didn't, so...
Yeah, at the very least, although that Nereid doesn't understand how prophecies work, at least the prophecy does fully come to fruition at the end.
Yeah.
Because that would have been crazy.
Yeah. I just realized something. This might be an okay time to discuss it. It's sort of out of the blue, but in the book, he says, when they came out of the underworld, that it was the day of the solstice. The day of the solstice. So the solstice had already... Does that mean... Okay, so what does that mean? Does that mean the solstice started? So was the evening of the solstice the one she's talking about in the show? Like, it is the evening of the solstice, whatever?
Yeah. I don't know when the gods... What time of day the gods, like, celebrate it. Or if there is a certain time of day that's, like, this exact minute is considered...
Because they said by the solstice. So if they came out of the underworld and he says it's like the day of the solstice, does that mean that by the solstice is actually over? So did they officially in the book
thinking by the solstice would have been midnight that night?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I was just wondering because maybe it didn't change all that much.
I think it is by that meeting. Like, I think it's by
so we don't know when they meet.
And in the TV show, it seemed like they did the meeting that evening.
It did.
I think they weren't. I don't think.
You still think they were ahead of schedule?
Late.
Okay.
I think they were made the deadline exactly. Like, I think at midnight of that night, Zeus would have been like, cool, the day's over. Like, the time limit is over at the end of this day.
Right.
You know? So I guess it depends on how you define the word by. Like, by the solstice. I would say by the, like, when the solstice is over, when that day is over.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, because it says it was early morning, June 21st, the day of the summer solstice. So I was just wondering, I was like, wait, does that mean that they actually were a day late or they're still got the rest of the day?
If you have a project or a paper that's like, let's say it's like, okay, it's due by Tuesday, I think that means if you turn it in on Tuesday, you're not late. I mean, you're cutting it close, but you're not late.
Okay.
If you turn it in on Wednesday, now you're late. You missed the deadline.
Cool. I just wanted to see if maybe all along I was wrong, but I think
they
we're
would have
still
made a way bigger deal about it
one
if they
day.
were late. Because that means the war would have started. See, that's what happened to the TV show. The war officially started because they were late.
Yeah, okay.
But in the book, it hadn't started yet. They were preparing for it because they were, they weren't sure how it was going to end up, but it definitely didn't start.
Okay, cool. Well, we are now entering scene 2, which is a flashback.
Yes.
Thumbs down.
Yeah. It's pretty short. It's mostly just them in the car. You get that line, like, we're not in Kansas anymore. And then she realizes that she hasn't showed her that movie, which I think was just a good explanation for young, like, 11-year-olds who are watching this, who maybe honestly haven't seen that movie.
Yeah.
Like, I think her explaining, it's from this movie. This
and
is
she doesn't
what
even she doesn't actually explain anything. She just goes, I haven't shown you that movie. And she has that face that, like, every parent has when she's like, oh, man, what kind of parent am I that I haven't shown you this childhood movie of mine?
But she does explain what she means by that, which is like, I was just saying that because we're only an hour outside of city, but it looks so much different. Like,
right. She explains what it means.
So that way when Percy uses the line, you understand he's saying, like, we maybe only walk down one set of stairs, but we're clearly in a whole different... realm.
And who knows, maybe by then he's actually seen the movie.
I think so.
Which is kind of cute. Anyways. Yeah, so you get that short little thing. But you get this Percy you get him being a little brat and her being a frustrated mom, which I know we'll get more of in the next scene, so we'll talk about it then, okay?
I have to say, rewatching this, I think, like, the first time it was really shocking and upsetting, but the second time through... Although, to be fair, I haven't rewatched this entire episode 7. I only got to the second bit of flashback, because I knew that's all we'd cover today.
Yeah.
But so far, the 2 scenes I have seen weren't that bad. Now, I know it gets worse at the diner, because then he has that line, like, why don't you...
Yeah.
Or, like, why don't you love me, or why don't you want to be with me?
Yeah.
Or something like that. But she is definitely, like, trying to be very calm. She... only really gets angry when he locks the door, but she's like, listen, I understand that you don't want this, but we have talked about this, and sometimes I have to make decisions that you don't understand, but I'm just doing my job. Like, I'm not doing this to be, you know, mean.
I don't think this is like bad parenting on her part or even a bad child on his part. I have nothing against that. This looks like a scene that would really happen in real life. It's just not Percy and Sally.
Yeah.
That's my disagreement, is that it's not Percy and Sally, because every time he talks about his relationship with his mom, like, I feel like they're giving us is maybe like, this is how hard it is to raise a child of the gods, and like, she's struggling because she can't tell him and explain to him, and he's not being the easiest because he's a child. But, however, they're changing to me, they are changing the relationship, and we've talked about this already, and Sally is a very distinct person in the books.
Yeah.
And she's not being that person in the TV show, and that's hard for me.
So I will say that at the beginning of this book, Percy does say that line that she never yelled at me, and she never got mad at me. And that she does get mad and does raise her voice a bit, although it's not like full on yelling in this scene.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like, she's never gotten mad at me, that line isn't quite true here. But he does say, like, I know I wasn't an easy child. So he does allude to the fact that he was difficult. Not just because he had ADHD, but that he was a difficult child. So this is him at, let's guess he's 7 or 8 here. And so maybe, yes, by the time he's 12, I keep on saying 11 because that's Harry Potter. But maybe by the time he's 12, he has matured enough to realize that, you know, his mom's in a really tough situation, and that him trying his best to not make things worse is
so it might come out a lot more from him at 12 than...
but at 7 maybe this is truly how he was behaving, because he said like he knew he wasn't always easy, and that seemed like a
and I feel like we could totally explain away how this totally could have happened. It's unnecessary, completely unnecessary to show, because we don't really need to know. My point being that it's still changing from a TV show watcher's viewpoint of Sally from what we get as a book.
Sally a bit.
And I'd rather not have that. And I don't like it. I'm here to say that.
Honestly, I think in this whole episode, the things I don't like, while I think that this screen time could have been used for other things, the actual scenes themselves, I am less upset about. I think that we're not in Percy's head, so getting more information about him and his mom's relationship through flashbacks is a good way to do it, because we hear a lot about how he feels about her and how the relationship is just through thinking. But I think he's very like rose-colored glasses because he thinks his mom's dead. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean by like? Okay. Sorry. Sometimes I'm not sure if these things are like normal phrases or if they're like generational phrases.
Yeah.
But so like him being like, she's perfect and amazing, could be a little bit, not that I don't think he's lying when he says that she never got mad at me. Like, I think if he says she never got mad at me, she never got mad at him. But maybe, you know, there were still very hard times and he wasn't always happy or doing well. Yeah. And so showing the relationship, considering we're not in Percy's head, I think is nice to see more of their relationship. And then about changing her personality, it's true. It's definitely changed. But I think, I don't know if this is going to sound weird or silly, but I think that Rick showing the struggles as a mother is more powerful and sends like, I don't know, like a message like, you know, it can be hard and you're trying your best as a mom and you're, you know, whatever. Like, it's a supportive message towards moms instead of like, just never ever get mad. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like not wanting to show the perfect mother and making everybody else feel like they're the worst. Yeah,
exactly.
And honestly, there might be people who would say, "Oh, come on, there's no parent in the universe who's never gotten mad at their child." But I would like to tell you, I am not kidding you. My mother did not get mad at me once my whole life. And before you think it's because I was a perfect child, let me tell you, I was not a perfect child.
She never got mad at me, and I was
Yeah.
And I only got sent to her when I was in trouble, so.
I was the queen of whining. I was the best whiner. I could beat everyone when it comes to whining. And I had my moments, and I cried and I whatever. She did not get mad at me until I was, I think 16 was the first argument that we had, not just me arguing with her, but like that we had. I think I was 16. So up until then, she had never gotten mad at me. And even after that, she wasn't even all that mad at me, just a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was going to say that it does happen.
Yeah.
It's a miracle, but it does happen. So I can believe Percy, but I do see what you're saying. Like, you don't want to make this look like this perfect mother that everybody's going to feel like there's no way I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's not even.
But it's also fiction, guys.
Yeah,
this
it's
is fiction. I mean, we don't have Iron Man, and all the other superheroes, and yet we still watch movies with them. So it's okay to have a superhero.
It wasn't
mom.
that I think that people, it wasn't that I think specifically that people would like feel bad. I think that it might be like a nice, like you said, a nice fantasy thing to think of this perfect mother or whatever. But I just think, they like to make things relatable. And so to have it to be more of a relatable experience might have been something that the producers or the writers, someone on board wanted. Yeah. Because it is like kind of a hot topic right now, I guess you would say, like raising neurodivergent children. And even his message in writing these books in the very first place was to support kids who are going through the struggles, of course, in a way that they're magical and that's like it explains it away or whatever. But still, that was his purpose. So to like show support for the struggles that goes along with like, being a parent of a neurodivergent kid.
Also on that note, you got kids reading about heroes. So being able to read about a hero that was like ADHD and dyslexia, that was his idea, was like, here. Yeah. I mean, the two was also like, it's sort of like, like someone like, like I don't know, whatever. People like reading about their nationality being a hero in a book or whatever. Like it's just representation. There's the word. Yeah. Yeah. So it's representation for that, type of thing. So
yeah. So those are all my thoughts. I don't actually hate it. I do think that screen time could be used to show the easy line at the.
There's too much in this one thing. I think if there wasn't so many things I disagreed with, maybe I'd give them more slack. But because there's so many in one episode, it's hard for me to separate out my frustrations.
I feel like what they should have done was, first of all, make this episode more accurate. Take out all those flashbacks, and at the very end, like the whole show is over. It would be like an epilogue,
like a
episode.
Short.
Yeah, like a
short.
Here's we just filmed this little pre all of this thing.
Oh yeah, just everyone would watch it
there, and I think in that context it would have been more loved.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so hopefully all my negativity is not irritating too many people, but we can go past this flashback now. Go into scene 3. Okay, yeah. So we actually start book chapter 18 here. So they are arriving in the DOA recordings in the book, where they come into the lobby and they find Charon. We talked about this already, but it's like a lobby full of people who are all dead. Yeah. And then they're like, hey, we want to go to the underworld. And he's like, well, that's refreshing. Most
Usually
people
they're like,
are trying to convince me that they're not dead or whatever.
There must have been a mistake.
Yeah, exactly. So they have this whole great conversation with him. So he finds out they're not really dead. And he's like, yeah, no, never mind. And then they basically convince him. Just like this whole conversation with like, you deserve like more money, some respect, good pay. And he's like, yeah, I really, do you know how expensive these suits are? It's like whatever. They kind of like, twist his whatever likes or something into getting him to agree. And
they just straight up bribe him. And they also say, if you get us down there, if we get an audience with Hades, we'll, mention that you need a raise.
Exactly. So the whole conversation is really cute. They get into the elevator, which elevator eventually turns into the river boat that gets them across the river. Yeah. They do talk about this river there. So we see the river in the TV show. It is the River Styx. Mm-hmm. Now, the River Styx is the river that you can make a promise on. Yeah. Remember how you say you swear on the River Styx?
There's like a spirit of the Styx.
Yeah.
We learn a little bit more about this in
in Trials of Apollo. You learn more about the swearing on the river Styx. But that's interesting because I didn't realize it was the same river, even though it's said it in here, the same river they have to cross over to get in the underworld.
Yeah. So this river,
because it has broken
a lot
promises.
of things. Yeah. And
broken dreams. So
yeah. It's very interesting. It's very important in Greek mythology. It's supposed to be the barrier, the border between, the mortal world and the underworld.
Right.
So here they just show up in DOA records, but in Greek mythology, anyone could just walk right up to the river.
Oh.
You can just show up at the river.
But you can't get across it without that.
Charon, sorry.
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
Don't get it mixed up with the horseman.
Yeah, so you can't get across
Is this
without
the same
boat.
river that you get dunked into?
Yeah, so Achilles. So Achilles of Achilles' heel, he was famous for being dipped into this river when he was a baby, and he was
being held by his
heel.
Yeah.
And if you can withstand like the pain and it trying to like rip apart your sanity, you then come out pretty much immortal, except for the one part of you that wasn't in there. So for him, it was his heel. So he was very important in the Trojan War, and he killed a lot of people. And then someone was blessed by Apollo to have the perfect arrow that shot right at his heel. Which, by the way, maybe don't go to war in sandals. If you're, like, I know that they were famous for wearing sandals.
Didn't have tennis shoes back then.
Maybe don't go to war in sandals if you have an Achilles heel, but that's fine.
Yeah, so this river is like so important in so many different things. We see there's a river there. We don't really get a lot of attention on it. Nothing's really put attention on it. That's okay. Yeah. It's not a problem. But that is the river Styx, and they do like talk about it a little bit more in the book about how it's like got all of these like soggy diplomas and whatever, plastic dolls. It's all the hopes, dreams, and wishes that never came true.
Right. It's polluted by human wishes and hopes and dreams, which is very interesting.
Yeah. Which I don't think they particularly are meaning to pollute it. That's just they died.
Yeah, it's not really their fault.
But Charon is complaining about them.
It's things that they're like letting go as they cross the river. So that's how it's being polluted. So as they're crossing over to the underworld, they're like, quote, letting go of these hopes and dreams and stuff. And because
they're dead.
Yeah, because they realize they'll never achieve them. So they just like plop into the water, I guess.
Sad.
Yeah.
That's why when you do go into the river Styx, it is full of despair.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Not fun.
Not a good place.
So we don't get all that. We get them instead walking up to this line of people.
Yeah, which you do get a little funny bit where Grover's like, I feel bad about this, because they're just like, excuse me, like pushing through this line. And then he's like, you really should spend more time with me in the city. Yeah. He's like, only chums away in line.
Yeah. It is kind of cute. Funny. Oh yeah, before that is that line you mentioned already where he says we're not in Kansas anymore, and then Annabeth says,
Percy,
focus. We left Kansas 4 days ago. And he's like, never mind.
I know, that was so funny.
Because the fact that she also knows that Kansas was 4 days ago is like so Annabeth.
Well, they did travel across the whole United States.
I know, but specifically, she knows right off the top of her head that it was 4 days ago.
We left Kansas 4 days ago. I wonder if that 4 days is counting the 2 days they were in. Well, yeah, it must be. It must be. Otherwise, it has to be.
I didn't get that.
It has to be, because otherwise, if she was still talking about 4 days from Tuesday, they were back at camp.
Oh, right. So, exactly.
So that must be 4 days ago, including the 2 days spent.
Exactly. So they come up to Charon, and he's...
Right, so they try to bribe him.
He's not anywhere near as fun as the one in the book.
No Armani suit. He's just wearing a normal death outfit.
Does he say anything? Maybe he says money? Does he say something about money, maybe? And they're like, yeah, we have money. And he pulls out money.
Like, payment, please.
And then he just picks up the whistle and blows the dog whistle.
Yeah, and then the second Percy was like, you can get a new whistle. I was like, that's a dog whistle. I knew it. I was like, uh-oh. So that's an interesting way to meet Cerberus, because that's definitely not how it happens. He is a guardian of the underworld, but he's at a different stage. Like, they're not
You're supposed to pass the river.
If Charon lets you by, then the next, barrier is Cerberus at the death lines. They're not like cohorts. They don't work together at the
Hades
river.
seldom cohorts.
Yes.
Anyways.
Like, Charon could have just been like, no.
I know. He doesn't have to call the dogs for that. The dog, whatever. Okay. It's one dog.
Question. We need to ask Cerberus if he identifies as 3 dogs or 1 dog.
Yeah.
What's your pluralness?
That's funny. Yeah, so we do get this really cool description in the book of like, you know, like he was expecting like pearly gates, but he says instead, which by the way is like more Christian, not Greek mythology. But instead he gets this, he says it looks like a cross between airport security and the Jersey Turnpike. And he says there's 3 separate entrances. Each one has a pass-through metal detector, because I don't know what you're bringing in, but okay.
I think it looks like a metal detector. No way it's actually a metal
soul detector?
Because unless they're looking for live people carrying weapons.
Yeah, maybe.
But that would be the only thing you'd be looking for in a metal detector. There's no... Even if a ghost soul thing was carrying something metal, wouldn't it then be not metal? Because now you can walk right through them.
Yeah.
So anyways, confusing, but fine.
Yeah, it is funny. 2 of the lines are marked attendant on duty and 1 is easy death. So this is humor, 100% humor. Like they could not have thrown this in honestly, at this point in the TV show, they couldn't have thrown this in because the TV show doesn't have that kind of almost a slapstick humor to it.
It could have been 3 airport lines. They could have just been sadder lines. Everyone could have looked very sad.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was not at all surprised that we didn't get this because that is not the way they're doing this TV show.
Yeah, I guess.
Which is sad.
I could see Cerberus not sitting on a bunch of ghosts, because that was pretty funny.
Oh, no, I could see, it's just funny, I could see him sitting on the ghosts. Oh. But not not these, like, you know, like, lighted up, you know, signs up above saying, attendant on duty, easy death. You know, like, that was, like, that's hilarious, but it's
pretty funny.
The show doesn't go that way.
I guess.
So... Yeah, so
It's just if you mix that with then Cerberus chasing you, it quickly goes from, oh my god.
Yeah, I know. Anyways, I'm not saying I agree. I'm just saying at this point it would have actually been out of place a little bit. They mention in the book that there's 3 judges that, like, judge you to decide where you're going, and the ones they mention here is King Minos, which you'll meet later, Thomas Jefferson, and Shakespeare, and I thought that was funny.
Yeah, it's definitely... I don't think they're the only 3.
No, she says people like that. Sometimes they switch around or whatever.
Like, you can be like, oh, I need some time off, you know?
Yeah.
You can have a replacement person. But yeah, those are the types of people. I really think it's funny that Shakespeare's up there. Although I guess King Midas doesn't make much sense either. I feel like they're just
throwing out famous names.
I guess. Or maybe not, yeah.
No, I think they could have he could have probably come up with a little bit more likely good judges. You know, like maybe like some of the saint somethings, you know? Saint Nicholas, okay?
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Anyways, so they have that little thing, but instead here, well, we don't get that at all. We get Cerberus running.
We get a giant wall. Like, you do see the
river.
We get a wall. But they're already on this side of the river. I'm already confused.
Yeah, did they?
I guess the secret entrance passes the river, but now
then why are those
wall? And why is Charon already on that side of the river?
Okay, so we're a little confused about how that works with the river. Yeah, because they were trying to get passage by going up to Charon, and it didn't work. So they figured out instead they had to get up over the wall.
Right, but the river's below them.
Yeah, and Grover has flying shoes. Let me just point this out. He could have just flown over the river Styx with them.
Yeah, but clearly Charon isn't... I don't know.
Okay, so
it's confusing.
It's not very clear. Whatever. But we do get this big 3-headed Rottweiler.
Yeah.
Which is how he's described in the books.
Yeah.
And Grover gets eaten right off the bat.
Yeah.
Hi, Grover! It was nice having you.
I remember being like, okay, I know things are changing, but what? Although that's also how I felt when Annabeth went back halfway through the adventure.
We haven't gotten there yet.
So
when we talk about that when we get there.
I wouldn't have been that surprised because things are definitely crazy.
Well,
but
we knew he wasn't going to die. There's no way Grover would die.
No,
so it was like, okay, he just got eaten. Fine.
But he could have used a pearl in Cerberus's belly, I guess. Well, yeah.
He could have.
Clearly, Cerberus isn't chewing him.
No.
Because he comes out pretty much on just a little slobbery.
Was he just like hanging by the little thing that hangs in the back of your...
Uvula.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Hanging on your... Then he's just hanging there, not falling down the throat. I feel like that dog should have been coughing a whole bunch.
Maybe he was just genuinely just sitting, like, in his mouth. The dog might have been distracted by trying to chase the other ones.
Well, if it's one mind and 3 heads.
That's 3 heads. So you think they each have a brain, but then how are they controlling the body so fluently? I mean, I guess if they're used to it.
Well, anybody out there have 3 heads? Will you let us know? Sorry.
I know people with 2 heads, they talk about, like, eventually you just learn how to walk together, but
they are two different.
They generally do control, like, half the body each, but soon it's, like, just like how walking, you don't think about right leg, left leg, right leg.
But it's still 2 people, just in a way. Like, I mean, it's 2 people, like 2...
They have different personalities, they have different brains.
Yeah, so Cerberus should have 3 names. It's Sir, Burr, and S. Okay, good. So maybe it was us that ate Grover, we're not sure.
And maybe us doesn't know how to chew. He just swallows his food whole. Some dogs, like, you have to teach them to slow down eating. Yeah. They will just
That's why you have those, like, dog bowls at mazes. Yeah. That's funny. Okay, so there goes Grover. Bye! And then, what happens? Annabeth starts scratching him?
There's a big bunch of dust that happens. I think from Cerberus running, but you
just can't see suddenly anything.
Yeah, which I think they just are trying to make it so you're not constantly looking directly at the dog for CGI budget reasons, but you're still hearing the dog. You don't see Annabeth.
Yeah.
And Percy's, like, you know, looking for them. And then when you do see Cerberus again, he's, like, stopped running and he's, like, starting to sit down and yawn and lay down. And then you see Annabeth is, like, scratching.
Somehow she's managed to get behind the dog and climb up on him while he was running.
Maybe the dust happened first, so that Cerberus couldn't see.
She climbed up his face?
No, it looked like she could have, like, jumped from his paw. Like, if he was...
Maybe, yeah.
If he was, like, stopped, you could have jumped, like, onto his arm.
Yeah, and so she's scratching his...
He does have these, like, this collar that has, like, these rings and stuff. He's, like, kind of like a harness thing, so it would have helped her climb up.
Yeah. So tell me, like... Do we have to do all that? Like, could we not have had Annabeth go pull out the ball and say, sit?
Yeah.
And have him sit just like in the book and do the whole thing because that was cute. But that's, I mean, again, we've changing so much here that at this point, like every little thing changing, I can't even it's like whatever.
Yeah. This episode is, I would like to just like look up who wrote each episode and I wonder
see if there was
a
specific
this one
and if there was all the same writer. I think it's all the same writers. It's only directors that changed each episode.
It's the same group of writers, but there's always a lead writer for a specific
we should
episode.
Look that up. We should look that up.
Yeah.
So this, I think, is when Grover slips out of the mouth, right? Because she's scratching him, and he's like getting all like sleepy and laying down.
And then he's like officially sleeping.
Oh, he's sleeping, right? Totally. That, you know what this reminds me of? Harry Potter.
Yeah, it really does. There's definitely
the 3-headed
not a magic scratch spot that makes a dog sleep. There's a magic scratch spot that will make their leg kick, but like them falling asleep is something like if they're really comfortable. You know, like it takes more than just like a specific spot.
But what if you're a dog that no one's pet for thousands and thousands of years and you get in pet? It just makes you so happy that you fall asleep.
No. I don't know. Some dogs, when you pet them, like sleepy isn't their first reaction. No. It's definitely like excited. And they'll push into your hand, and like wag their tail and stuff. Well, I don't know how. And they could have pushed into her hand, push her right over.
That's true. And then he'll whine at her and want her to keep petting. Anyway, so he falls asleep. Whatever. You know, that's just what happens. And there comes Grover, slimy, coming out of the whole thing. I watched in the making of it, you know, they show you them, like, putting the slime on him. It's so funny. And he says something like, "You are a bad, bad dog." And I'm like, "Oh, Grover."
He's just doing his job.
Oh, we don't get Grover telling us what Cerberus is saying.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
But I guess he just comes sprinting at them too fast.
He's not really saying anything. He's just barking.
Yeah.
With no words.
Yeah.
So Annabeth is like, "I'm not going to hold this very long." Grover, I think she's the one who says, "Grover, fly Percy up." So Grover flies Percy up the wall, which they could have done in the first place without having to walk over to Charon and alert the dog.
Yeah.
But okay. So they fly up the wall. And then Annabeth slips, and the dog wakes up.
Yeah. The dog starts to wake up. We just see its eye opened and starting to growl, and then we are back to Percy and
okay.
Grover at the top of the wall, and then the ball comes flying up. Or
do you hear her
can
say Percy? Or how do you know the ball's coming flying up? Does he just catch it? Is that good? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking down. They are here. They can hear that Cerberus is awake now.
Yeah.
They can hear the growling. And so they're looking down, and then here comes the ball.
And Percy grabs it.
Flying up, and he catches it and squeaks it, like you said. And then the dog comes jumping up, and he can jump quite high, like can almost reach.
And I get the idea he's jumping to get the squeaky ball, not to get them, but it could be either way.
Well, it's still scary, because like, you can't see, there's like all this like cloudy mist stuff, so he kind of comes like, you don't see him jumping, you just see him when he's basically already there.
Yeah.
And he's giant, so it was like kind of like, oh, but yeah, he was there to get the ball.
And then he goes down. Percy throws the ball?
No.
And they look down, they see Annabeth.
Can you help me out? So then they pull her up.
So she's basically somehow figured out how
to take that, and takes the ball back from Percy.
Yeah, but so when he jumps up, she is holding onto the dog and managed to actually get the exact projection. Like, right at this point, I need to jump off the dog.
I think she was trying to get to the very top, but she does manage to find some footing.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, she does a great job.
Oh.
It was like using that skill that we didn't see at Waterland.
That's right. It's like the same skill.
Yeah. So she does a good job there, and they help her up, and then she's like, I'll take that. And she takes the ball and throws it into the river. And then, I guess, the clouds now magically clear. And, and we can see Cerberus chasing the ball downriver.
Which was sad. I wish she kind of threw... Maybe that was to keep him distracted a little longer.
Yeah, because like, as we learned in the book, the second he got the ball, it's a one-use ball.
Yeah, it just like breaks apart.
And that ball wasn't hand-sized. It was like a slightly bigger ball. Or maybe it was hand-sized.
I think it was still hand-sized, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, honestly, there's no way, like, you could have, a dog that size really, even in the book, could have, like, grabbed that ball and not just swallow the thing accidentally.
Yeah.
Anyways. But she looks a little sad. You can see her kind of look sad. And then she says something about her dad having a dog. So she feels, you can tell, she feels a little sadness.
See, if I had just watched this, and that's all I knew about, like, I had never read the book, I would think she's sad thinking about her dad's dog and the fact that she ran away from home and never got to see that dog again. But in the, because, like,
that's what I think that
she...
I feel like that's what they're trying to communicate in the TV show.
Yeah,
when in the book, her sadness is the fact she's leaving the dog, that he's sad. But you don't get that with this.
No.
You don't feel any sympathy towards Cerberus at all.
But in the book, you realize the reason why her plan worked is because this dog never gets played with.
Yeah.
And
he was so happy to have a friend.
It's not like a bunch of humans who come by for him to chase either. Like, mostly it's just ghosts and he just stands there.
Yeah. And see, she doesn't even have to be petting him the whole time. She's just standing there and he's like already like, you're the best friend I've ever had.
Yeah, you threw one ball for me.
I will forever be your friend. And when they leave, he whines.
Yeah.
He doesn't run after them.
And they hear... Well, because he's not really supposed to leave his post. So once they get past him, then, he's not really supposed to come after them.
He's, like, whining.
Like, they said that they can hear him, like they kept her walking, they could hear him for a while.
Yeah,
and,
so she's sad.
And she seemed a little bit, like, sad. She was like, he deserves, to get played with.
Right. Well, that gets us to the end of that scene, and we are done for today's episode.
Yep.
Yeah. I do have a question for the listeners. Do you have a favorite pet?
Like out of
your childhood?
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if it was like...
No, not like an imaginary favorite pet or anything like that, but like in
like
your whole life,
my
actually.
Favorite type of pet?
No.
Or just the favorite pet I've ever had?
Yeah, because I was just thinking about her being sad about the dog that her father had, I guess.
Yeah. I would probably say Max, our dog. We had him for a really long time, and even though I didn't spend time with him every day because he was an outdoor dog doing outdoor things, I definitely spent a good bit of time with him, and he was just always there when I needed him. He's a very cute dog.
I think he actually might be my favorite dog too.
Yeah, but Honey's definitely a close second in my favorite animals ever. My current cat, because he is just
Honey is my favorite grand pet.
Grand pet, yeah. Although it's a little bit difficult right now for me, because he likes to step all over me in the exact places that are very owie. But, whatever. What are you going to do? It's a cat. So sometimes I have to, he starts to get on me, and I have to, take him, put him on the bed next to me, and then fold him into a position where his paws, aren't facing down, and then lay him back on me so that he doesn't hurt me. But either way, he's still, the most cuddliest, purriest,
the cutest cat that anybody's ever met.
Yeah.
Ever.
He lets you spoon him, like, all the time. If I'm laying on my side, he always will come and, like, curl himself directly up against me, and then I wrap my arms around him, and he just will purr forever and ever and ever.
I know, I'm so jealous. It's the perfect kind of cat I've always loved to have and never had.
Yeah. So he's definitely up there. He was definitely another emotional support animal, like Max was. Like, he's just, whenever you need cuddles, you can always count on Honey. He's always there.
Yeah.
Good boy.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, well then our listeners are welcome to let us know the answer to that question when we post it on social media, which is a great way to go to the next part of our
podcast. Okay, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Camp Comparisons Podcast. That's where you can answer these questions. If you want to send multiple photos of all of the pets you've ever owned, email us at campcomparisons@gmail.com.
That would be fun if I got a bunch of emails of photos of,
every pet you've ever owned.
Yeah. And yeah, if you guys have Apple Podcasts, if you guys would do us a big favor and go over to Apple Podcasts, go to our podcast page or whatever you want to say, and leave us a review there, that would be great. And if you leave us a 5-star review, we'll read it.
Yeah.
Like we did today.
Yeah.
Yay. All right, until next time.
See you at camp.
Bye.
Bye.